Deepak Chhabria, Executive Chairman with Finolex Cables, joins us now. Deepak, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Let's start with the very basic question. How is the demand across categories, cable, wire, FMEG, and the communication cables for Q4?
So last year has been good. We have healthy trends in all our product lines because post-COVID there has been a lot of surge in demand in the housing sector, which has translated into requirements for wire and cable where we are present, including the new FMEG products are all towards the home, whether it's switches, lighting, fans, water heaters, they are all products for home consumption. And so we've seen healthy growth in all the segments in the last year. Going forward also, though there is been a little slowdown in the housing, but all the new projects which were announced and embarked upon last year, they will continue to reach fruition and then consume these products of ours. So we still see a good year ahead of us.
So can you share the revenue target for next 2 years, like an expected business mix?
I can tell you that we are on a growth path and the target is hopefully in double digits. When you talk about revenue mix, house wiring, electrical products consist about 65% of our revenue mix. Another 20% is about other flexibles, wires and cables, power cables all put together. 10% is communication cable products, and 5% are the new products which we are expanding in and trying to grow, which are the FMEG product lines. So that's the revenue mix, and going forward, we are trying to grow those new products at a faster pace than the normal growth products. So we do expect, even though the wire and cable will grow, the revenue mix will change more and more in favor of the new products.
Right. So on the margin, is there a possibility of expansion going forward from the current run rate of 10 to 13%? And do you see volatility in copper prices impacting the margins too?
So this is interlinked, the volatility and the margins, because in wire and cable, copper is predominant cost in the product, and copper is quite volatile. Like since last 2 years, it's moved from $5,000 to a $10,000 range. And as the copper increases, we do pass on the increase in cost to the end consumer. But we, as a percentage of the business, or I mean the profit margin, it slightly drops. So if you look at our margins, looking at 2 years ago and now, the gross margins may be 1.5% lower than previous because the copper is high. But when the copper comes down, we will see the margins correcting. So it all depends on how and where the commodity prices will move going forward.
Right. You mentioned about real estate slowdown as well. Is the healthy traction seen last year expected to abate in FY24?
No. So there was a slight slowdown in house sales, what you see. It's not a major one. But after COVID, we did see a huge upturn in housing, and we witnessed consumption in our product lines. So going forward, eventually in the long term, housing has to grow, and there is not going to be any slowdown in our growth rates. But in the short term, there could be small blips. But if you talk of just next year, a lot of projects were announced and started last year. So these projects where money has been spent or started will go for completion, and when the civil construction gets over, then you have the consumption of the wire and the other products. So for 1 year, there won't be any effect on our demand because the projects which were embarked upon last year will go for completion. The new product launches have slowed down, which may have an impact maybe later.
Now the FMEG business is taking some time to, let's say, become big. What are the strategies in place to scale up this business?
So we've launched many product lines in FMEG, and all these products sell through a distribution network of electricals. So being in the wire business for so long, the consumer being the same, and retail shops who carry wire also carry these product lines. We believe that we can make a dent in this market. We've come out with some very good products. Right now the volumes are small compared to some other companies. Our total business is within 5% of our company's turnover, but we intend to grow this, and for this growth we are working on an network expansion for last 1 or 2 years, where we have put in place a 2-tier distribution retailer network. This network has now grown to 600 distributors and 1,50,000 retail outlets. As we will intend to grow this by another 50,000 retail outlets this coming year, and we hope that this will play a big part in growing and taking this 5% in the next 2 years to 10% of our product mix.
So, given the government thrust on digitization and 5G rollout, what is the communication cable outlook and margin guidance?
So we have a good healthy growth in the last year in the communication segment, including in fiber optics, which is being used in the 5G rollout. In fact, we are expanding in this sector. We are adding more capacity. Last year we have increased our capacity on the fiber draw towers from 2 million fiber kilometer to 3.5 million fiber kilometer. On the fiber cable side, we had a capacity of 8 million fiber kilometer. We have an expansion underway to bring it to 10 million, where construction is coming to a complete, and equipment should be coming in soon. So we do foresee that India has a lot of demand for fiber optic and actually on the communication sector as a whole, and we are investing in all the communication growth lines, including LAN cables and CATV cables.
Right, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining in today. Good to get in that perspective from you on where business is headed.